Oops. All right, good evening, everyone, or good afternoon. Let's get started. As chair of the commission, I call this meeting of the Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission to order at 4:03 p.m. This Zoom webinar is live streamed on YouTube on the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission YouTube channel. For anyone in the public watching who would prefer to watch via a different platform than they are currently using, please visit our social media at Redistricting MI. Our live stream today includes closed captioning. Closed captioning, ASL interpretation, as well as Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali translation services will be provided for effective participation in this meeting. Email us at redistricting@michigan.gov for additional viewing options or details on accessing language translation services for today's meeting. People with disabilities needing other specific accommodations should also contact redistricting@michigan.gov for accommodations. This meeting is being recorded and will be made available at www.michigan.gov/micrc for viewing at a later date. This meeting is also being transcribed, and those closed caption transcripts will be made available and posted on the michigan.gov/micrc website, as well as written public comment submissions. There is also a public comment portal that can be accessed by visiting the website, which is once again www.michigan.gov/micrc. Members of the media who may have questions before, during, or after the meeting should direct those questions to Edward Woods III, Executive Director of the Commission, at woodse3@michigan.gov. For the public watching and the public record, I will now turn it over to the Department of State to take note of the commissioners present.
Good afternoon, commissioners. When I call your name, please say present. If you're attending the meeting remotely, please announce during roll call that you are attending the meeting remotely. Unless your absence is due to military duty, announce your physical location by stating the county, city, township, or village and the state from which you're attending the meeting. I will begin roll call alphabetically with Commissioner Andrade.
Present.
Commissioner Callahan.
Present, attending remotely from Mexico.
I'm sorry, I should have said if your location has not changed, you don't need to share. If it has changed from this morning, then please share that information. Commissioner Curry.
Present and attending remotely from Detroit, Michigan.
Commissioner E.
Present.
Commissioner Kellum. Commissioner Lang,
Present.
Commissioner Lett,
Present.
Commissioner Muldoon,
Present.
Commissioner Orton,
Present.
Commissioner Zatella, Commissioner Villette,
Present.
Commissioner Wagner, Commissioner Weiss.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 commissioners present. You do have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Young.
You're welcome, sir.
Mr. Fink, I see your hand is up. Do you have something?
Thank
For
you.
us.
I was, I'd put it up toward the beginning of the roll call. And I could be wrong with how we've been doing this, but I think these are two separate meetings. The first, the morning and the afternoon meetings that we're doing these days. It's not like you're just recessing and taking a break in between. So unfortunately, I think for consistency, you should be stating where you're calling in from during the initial roll call. So sorry to bog you down with that, but just so that we're consistent with that, I think we should have that for those who did not state where they're appearing from.
That's all right. Let's take
Okay.
one more time.
Yep, we can do it again
There we go. From the top.
from the top. Sorry, folks. Commissioner Andrade,
Yes,
your location,
attending remotely from Imlay Township, Michigan.
Commissioner Callahan,
Attending remotely from Mexico.
Commissioner Curry,
Present and attending remotely from Detroit, Michigan.
Commissioner Ede,
Present, remotely attending from Detroit, Michigan.
Commissioner Lang,
Present, Osceola County, Michigan.
Commissioner Muldoon. Oh, Commissioner Lett, I'm sorry, skip one. Commissioner Lett.
Oh, sure.
It would be you.
Present, attending from Lee County, Florida.
Thank you. Commissioner Muldoon,
Present, Carlton, Michigan.
Commissioner Orton,
Present. Remotely from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Commissioner Villette,
Present. Attending remotely from Highland Township, Michigan.
Commissioner Wagner, Commissioner Weiss,
Present, attending remotely from Saginaw Township, Saginaw, Michigan.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Young.
You're welcome.
Okay. As a reminder to the public watching, you can view this afternoon's agenda at www.michigan.gov/micrc. I will now entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Thank you once again, Commissioner Lett, and we have a second by Commissioner Weiss to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor to approve the motion to adopt the agenda, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Any opposed, please raise your hand and say nay. The ayes have it, and the agenda is adopted. Next up is public comment. Without objection, we will begin the public comment portion pertaining to agenda topics for today's meeting. Is there any objection to moving on to public comment? Individuals who have signed up and indicated they would like to provide live remote public comment to the commission will now be allowed. I will call your name and our staff will unmute you. If you are on a computer, you will be prompted by the Zoom app to unmute your microphone and speak. If you are on the phone, a voice will say the host wants you to speak and prompt you to press *6 to unmute. I will call you by your name when it is your turn. Please note if you are experiencing technical or audio issues, or we do not hear from you for 3 to 5 seconds, we will move on to the next person in line and then return to you after they are done speaking. If your audio still does not work, you can email redistricting@michigan.gov, and we will help you troubleshoot so you can participate in the next public comment period at a later meeting. You will have 90 seconds to address the commission. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the timer. We have 5 public speakers today. The first is Mr. James Gallant.
Just before I unmute Mr. Gallant, I see that Commissioner Zatella just joined the meeting. Commissioner Zatella, can you tell us where you're joining remotely from?
Yep, I am joining from Wayne County, Michigan.
Thank you. Okay, now, Mr. Gallant, I'm going to unmute you.
Hello, can you hear me now, Mr. Chair?
We can hear you, Mr. Gallant.
All right, thank you very much. This is James Gallant, Marquette County Suicide Prevention Coalition. These are my opinions. Now, Mr. Eid, it appears that you have flawed reasoning concerning the manner in which you are presiding over this public meeting as the chair. There's 2 things that you cannot suspend: the Constitution and the fundamental principles of parliamentary law in America, and you've done both. And you seem to have doubled down on all this. First, you determined Commissioner Wagner's formal motion out of order when Mr. Fink clearly advised you that it is permissible under the Constitution, and you have reiterated that. So you did right then circumvent the Constitution and your oath of office. Secondly, you colluded with Mr. Fink and the others to facilitate the closed session item in violation of the rules of procedure. The vice chair is allowed to facilitate the issue. It's actually before the commission with a motion and a second to approve a specific action. You had no motion second, and you knew you had to make a motion. And then you're not addressing the people by their titles like Madam Secretary Young. 3 strikes means disciplinary action against a rogue chair is now in order. You created your own personal semblance of order here as the ringleader under sideways rules. Good luck with that, Mr. Eid. Please engage with this and schedule a public hearing under a special meeting to address the rules of procedure, hire a parliamentarian, and to review the applications of the members who should be vacated for not answering the conflict of interest answers on the applications. There's 5 of them.
Thank you, Mr. Gallant. We appreciate your comments. Next up to speak is Nina Abrams.
Can you hear me?
Hello, Ms. Abrams, we can.
I'm Nina Abrams from Huntington Woods in South Oakland County. I want to thank you for the good results in the House redistricting process. I've been a citizen participating in your activities from the beginning of this process. In the House redistricting, you achieved the compact districts, the cross-country boundaries, and the process used. Going forward for redistricting the state Senate, these are the things that I think are important. And you will probably hear from me several times. Compact districts, you did a great job on the House. I'd like to see as few changes as possible. I like the idea that it worked out cross-country borders. We've had experience in doing that in South Oakland, where it's led to us meeting new people, and we have Detroit regionalization. I think it's important to consider all constitutional mandates. It's possible to redistrict with them. But the most important thing that I've been watching, and I think is critical for you guys to pay more attention to, is partisan fairness, so that the managing ratios that you use to see that partisan fairness are closer to 0 and not favoring either of the parties. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Abrams. Next up, we have Mr. Ian Sandler Bowen.
Good afternoon, commissioners. My comment today is largely around the process of mapping. I've commented a handful of times in person and on Zoom and submitted a number of maps. And when approaching the state Senate, I would strongly encourage, at least for one of your drafts, starting from an entirely blank map and trying to draw as compliant a map as you can with the 7 ranked criteria. And then after that, finding a way to fit it into the other districts around it while changing as few as possible. Because fundamentally, this process is about ensuring that we have districts that are legal and that don't violate the Equal Protections Clause of the Constitution in terms of process. And in the mapping that I've done, I've found that when you've got a legislative body that has a smaller number of districts, which means more population, the policy changes or the district changes have a much larger effect. If we're looking at the map, you've got a few cities that are split between a district that is illegal and a district that was not. So Farmington Hills, Livonia are 2 good examples. That is one of the criteria, even if it's not a particularly high criteria. So I would encourage the commission to spend at least a little bit of time looking at how you would draw the maps in a vacuum and then fitting those in with the surrounding districts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Next up, we have Mr. Chris Gilmer Hill.
Good afternoon. Can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, my name is Chris Gilmer Hill. I'm back again. I'm a lifelong resident of Detroit, and I'd like to urge just some broad general suggestions as we start this process. I know that there's already a ton of great ideas that are floating out there, but there's already a few things sort of structurally that I'm seeing that seem to be similar mistakes to what happened early on in the process last time. For one, while I recognize that it's good to be cautious legally, the court has already been very clear in their ruling previously that there's nothing wrong with looking at maps from outside folks. You should, I would recommend looking at a wide range from a lot of people, getting those good ideas from the community. There's also nothing wrong with changing a lot of districts. The court has been pretty clear. They're not going to create their own tests. They're not going to impose something beyond just the test of VRA compliance and constitutionality. That means you should be willing to make all the changes you need to make to give us the best districts in Metro Detroit that you can. You're specifically going to need to make a lot of changes to ensure partisan fairness and COI protections at the same time. If you keep just changing a very limited number of districts, you're very quickly going to end up with way more Republican seats just because of how the geography of Macomb County in particular works. So you should be willing to look at districts like 13, 23, and 24 and make all the changes you need to make so we get the best map possible. I know it took a long time last time. It might take a while this time. I believe it'll work out.
Thank you, Chris. And the last person we have signed up to speak is Mr. Anthony Scannell.
Thank you. Good afternoon, MICRC. I appreciate the consideration that was given to my map, mostly because of one commissioner bringing it up, and that's all it was a public comment. And I was kind of disheartened or dismayed at the sentiment from our resident Florida commissioner who didn't want to consider it, or said he was the first he was considering it. But it just gives the sense that he doesn't really consider public comments at all. And I mean, it said it wasn't on the public comment portal. Well, the public comment portal wasn't open when I submitted it. That's why I emailed it in the way I did. It's really not the best thing since sliced bread. It's not the be all end all. And heck, I really only know about my area, which is around District 1 in this House and District 1 in the Senate and 2. But you know, it said the populations were out of whack. I think there was a little difference in the numbers between the site I used in your program. The changes didn't translate exactly for the bottom of Taylor and That was not exactly what I intended in the border between Detroit and Dearborn, but that's not the point. I'm glad you considered my map, and I'm satisfied with that. And I think, like other commenters, you should consider the IPPSR, and there's another one on the public comment portal, Nico B, comment ID 0 or 010123. I think you should take a look at all of them if you have the time.
Thank you, Mr. Scannell. That concludes public comment. Please feel free to email public comments to the commission at redistricting@michigan.gov. We appreciate everyone who offers public comment in whatever way you choose and invite you to keep sharing your thoughts in the ways you'd like to share. We also have the public comment portal up, www.michigan-mapping.org, where you could submit both written testimony or a map to the commission for consideration. Next up on the agenda is mapping. Without objection, I will ask the commission to continue its collaborative mapping process in conjunction with Rule 4.10.5 of our Rules of Procedure and the mapping processes and procedures document. Is there any objection? Seeing none, we will move forward to mapping. And last we left off was with Commissioner Wagner. Before that, it was Commissioner Callahan, which means the first up to draw right now is Commissioner Curry. Commissioner Curry, it is your turn. You have a few different maps you can take a look at, or you can start your own map if you'd like. Just let John know what you want to do.
Can you pass on me for right now, then I'll be ready in a moment or two.
We can skip you, but then you'll have to wait until it comes around again.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. Well, after Commissioner Curry, it is then my turn. So, John, why don't you open the last map we were working on? I believe it was version 3.
Okay, so I would suggest that I just keep the version 3 and just give it today's date, if that's agreeable.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So this was a not completed plan that was worked on yesterday. So I will make a copy of that, keeping the version number and just putting today's date on.
Commissioner Zatella, I see your hand.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why this wasn't put out on the portal yesterday, because version 1, 2, and 4 were, but this one wasn't, and I was looking for it. I'm just curious as to why it wasn't also put out there.
Okay, I can do that. There was some question as to whether I should be putting incomplete maps up. I can certainly do that. So that was just something I didn't do. I should have asked about that this morning. I'm sorry I didn't do that.
Yeah, I personally would appreciate it because I like to look back at what we did the day before to kind of think about what I would like to do the next session. So that would
Okay,
be very helpful.
I'll make sure that we put maps complete or otherwise up each day. I think that was what was done before, but then I think maybe we went away from that at least one time. So I'll make sure to do that moving forward and today.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a few districts that still need to be added into this. There are two things I want to look at. The first is, and you know, I know we ended yesterday looking at District 1, and there was debate on if it should go, you know, along the river or to how, hey buddy, or think my internet just disconnected. Are you guys still with me?
We are.
All right, wonderful. Sorry about that. But I'm not going to be doing that right now. I wanted to note that there was some debate about how District 1 looked. We can, do that at a different time. We also have the map that's titled version 4. I'm wondering, I really want to see how different this one and version 4 are around districts 5, 6, and 13. Is there any way to overlay those two over each other?
Yes, I can bring the overlay of version 4 up. Give me a moment.
Okay, I'm just trying to see what the big differences are here. I think what we tried to do is take some ideas and put it in from 4 and put it into 3. And looking, can you zoom up to 6 and 13? I see. So it looks like, could you zoom in on 6, please? So it looks like for 6 and 13, the big difference here is putting Farmington and Farmington Hills with 13 and exchanging it for the areas north of Plymouth into 6. Okay, and then if we can go to around districts 2 and 1. Oh, I see. Okay, so in version 3, District 2 includes Southgate, but in version 4, it instead includes, let's see, it includes Lincoln Park. So that's something to be considerate of. That area that's in purple in between 1 and 2, John, yep, right there. I believe that's Lincoln Park. And then if we go in between 4 and 5, okay, but both versions, no. Only one version includes Taylor in District 4. Okay, yep, in the version 3, Taylor is included in 4. No, actually, yeah, it is in both, correct?
Yes, Taylor's in both versions. The differences are Southgate, Romulus, Belleville.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering if 4 was in the same district in both of them. Cool, I just wanted to see what those were. I'm all right with either of the configurations in that area. You can turn the overlay off. All right, let's go into, I guess I'll draw something then because we need some districts. So let's go into Macomb.
So there are 4 districts that are undrawn.
Yes, let's start in the Sterling Heights area. And let's assign all of Sterling Heights into a district. Previously, it was split between districts 9 and 10. We have to change District 10. We do not need to change District 9, but in this map, District 9 was changed. And because of that, we can reunite Sterling Heights, which was one of the communities of interest we split up, specifically the Chaldean American community of interest that resides in Sterling Heights. So if we have the chance to put that city back together, let's see if we can do it.
Okay, and what district number would you use? 10, 11, or?
Previously, it was between 9 and 10, and I think we have 9 used. So let's go with 10.
Okay, 8, 10, and 11. So 10 it is.
Commissioner Zatella, I see your hand.
Yeah, I'm just a little confused. My understanding, and perhaps I'm remembering things incorrectly, but I thought the reason why we had Sterling Heights split that way in the first place was because you had drawn it that way. Because for the same reason you're citing now, the Chaldean community, you are the one who put in that kind of central line and had it split between 12, what was, I don't even know what it was in the original map, 10 and 8. So I guess I'm just kind of curious as to what your plan is this time, and if you have some sort of community of interest that was submitted that we can look at to make sure that we're keeping it consistent, because I know it was redrawn that way initially by you.
Well, I think previously the District 10 went from the east side of Detroit all the way up to Sterling Heights. So now if we have the chance to recombine Sterling Heights and put it with a different area, I'd like to try it. I think we did use an analysis that was put together that showed where some Chaldean households were in that district and where that dividing line was, and we tried to use it. But I'm not sure how well that worked. I'm sure we will hear from the public at some point about that. But at this point, we have Sterling Heights and Troy open, so I'd like to take a look at drawing in that area.
Okay, so you're not relying on a specific COI that was submitted to us?
I'm not relying on, I'm not looking at any COI map right now, if that's what you're asking.
That's what I'm asking.
No, I'm just doing it freehand.
Okay, so that's 134. That's about almost exactly half a district.
Okay, and what happens if you put Troy in that district as well?
Okay, I believe we discussed this before. There's a portion of Troy in 9. Did you want to put all of it in or just the portion that's unassigned?
The portion that's currently unassigned. It looks like it's most of Troy.
Yes. Okay, that leaves you 43,000 short.
All right, well, we have that area below 24 that used to be part of District 10 that was unassigned. So let's put that in here as well.
Okay.
Okay, and now we have the option of going down into Warren or eastward. What are we thinking, folks? Any advice on that? We only need about 30,000 people, so I don't think it matters too much in comparison to the totality of the district, but I'd love to hear some thoughts. Commissioner Zatello?
So, I'm concerned that the way you're drawing this is you're boxing yourself in such a way that 11 is going to end up looking a lot like the 11 that got struck down.
Commissioner Orton?
Well, I was just gonna say, what about Ferndale and Royal Oak, just the areas that are down? Because if you go east, then we are left with the long skinny district, but I don't know, community of interest wise, whether those things would go better in what you're drawing or down below.
I do think there is some sense in pairing Troy and Sterling Heights, both from a community perspective. Also potentially, I don't know this for sure, but potentially from a partisan fairness perspective as well. But Ferndale is quite a bit south of this district. So how would you suggest connecting that area to 10?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. In my mind, 7 was 10, so
Oh, okay.
looking at the wrong thing.
Well, you could move some of Clausen in to 10.
Yeah, you could eat the top part of 7 and then 7 goes down a little. That is a
Okay.
possibility.
Let's try that. So let's add Clausen to 10. Actually, let's just add Madison Heights. Okay, and then you can add Ferndale and Royal Oak to 7. All right, where are we at now on the numbers?
District 7 is under by 9,600, negative 3.65. District 10 is negative 0.6. So you would potentially need some more for 7 if you chose to do that.
Okay, can you zoom out a little bit? And 10 is under as well. So 10 is under and 7 is under. Wondering if we can split the difference somewhere.
So you'd need about a point. So if you took a point off of 7 from 10, you'd be negative 1.6 on 10 and negative 2.65. So yes, you could do that.
Or we could potentially go a little bit more south on 7, because 10 right
Yes.
now is okay.
Yes.
So let's look at 7. Let's look at the areas directly south of Royal Oak.
Okay, here's 7 Mile as a reference, and then directly south of Royal Oak.
Okay, can we pull up those neighborhoods?
Okay.
John, do you have an overlay of the house districts by chance?
Yes, I added that in. find it. And I did just add this in. There it is. Okay, so it looks like, Greenfield and College Park, as well as Schaefer and Winship, to Bagley, all the way over to Bagley, that square was included in a house district with Oak Park. I believe that's District 6, but I might be wrong in the house map. What if we assigned that area into Senate District 7?
Okay,
That might
so,
be too many people, but let's see what it is.
all right. So you're looking for up to 9,600 or potentially more. So 3, 4, 5,000 about there. That'll cover about half of what you need.
Okay, and then what if you also do Schaefer Lodge and 7 Mile Lodge, that whole couple of neighborhoods as well?
Yeah, that'll close the gap pretty closely. Okay, that takes you a little over, within 1%. And this one, I can split that to align with the neighborhood.
Yes, that would be nice. All right. Can you turn off the overlays and zoom out? Let's see what we have. All right, I like it. I think it looks pretty good for an offer at an attempt at this. What I did was we had the chance to recombine both a major city and Sterling Heights, considering it was not in this version of the map. We decided to delete out District 9. We put that with the rest of Troy and Madison Heights. I think that makes a lot of sense from a community's perspective, as there are a ton of similarities between Troy and Sterling Heights. I think it also supports communities of interest, and it also supports city and township boundaries. To make it work population-wise, we added Madison Heights into it as well, which also has similarities with Troy. And in order to make up for that population difference, we added Oak Park, Ferndale, and that area into District 7. So I like it. I'll let my turn there and let the next person pick it up. I see Commissioner Lang has a hand.
Yes, I'm just curious because I'm taking notes for when it's my turn, so I don't mess anything up. You said you think it represents community of interest. Can you tell me what the communities of interest are, so I kind of got an idea of what I'm looking at?
Well, I think the one that sticks out to me the most is the Chaldean community of interest that we heard from last time that resides in Sterling Heights. But there are also certainly other communities of interest. I would expect there to be one between Troy and Sterling Heights, considering their neighbors. We put some of Troy with Sterling Heights last time, but split Sterling Heights. So if it was good enough then, I don't see why it's not good enough now. You can get from Madison Heights up to Troy through 75, share a lot of different businesses and other ventures within Oakland County. And as far as District 7 goes, you know, I kind of tried to follow what we did with the House map, because if it was good enough for the House, why wouldn't it be good enough for the Senate? So that's my reasoning. And I also think, I don't know this for sure, but I think it could make sense from a partisan fairness perspective as well, but we'd have to complete the map and check the numbers about that.
Well, I'm not worried about partisan fairness at the moment. I'm more worried about communities of interest. John, could you do me one favor, just why the map is right where it is? Because I'm trying to get my orientation here. Can you point to Troy?
Okay, so this is all of Troy Township here.
Okay.
And then there's a small portion of Troy Township that's in District 9.
Okay, okay. All right. I'm not going to ask any more questions. Thank you.
Just to clarify, I don't believe that's part of Troy. I believe
Oh, I'm
that's,
sorry.
yeah, it's, you've got
Yeah.
Bloomfield Hills is that box, and then Bloomfield Township kind of wraps around it. Just for the record.
That's even better. You got a fully intact Troy with a fully intact Sterling Heights and a fully intact Madison Heights. Those are certainly three communities that I think belong together, and you know, we'll see what the public has to say about it. Okay, that concludes my turn. Next up is Commissioner Kellum. Has she joined?
She has not.
Okay. Commissioner Zatella, I still see your hand. Do you have another question?
Sorry, I just forgot to lower it.
It's all good. All right, next up is Commissioner Lang. Commissioner Lang, you have this map that you can work on. There's also the version 4.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I got it.
can
Thank
start
you.
here. Yep.
Go
ahead.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to have Commissioner Zatella help me a little bit. So Commissioner Zatella, because I don't want to, I guess I'm going to say, mess up too bad any districts that have already been drawn to get any one map that's been done collaboratively too far out of whack. So I'm going to ask Commissioner Zatella, of the versions, I've said it before, what I want to do, a particular community that I'm looking at, which map would you recommend, that version of the map that I start with, so that I don't disrupt the flow too much, I guess.
Let me look real quick at what we worked on. So,
and while she's looking, I have another question too. Maybe somebody in the commission can tell me. I'm seeing comments about Royal Oak and Troy being a community of interest. Has anybody else ever seen that in public comment that you can think of? Nothing. Okay.
so John, can you reopen the map that you were just working on, that version 3? Because that's not on the website, so I can't compare it.
The one that was just worked on by Commissioner
Yes.
Eid? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is here, yeah. So Commissioner Eid drew District 10, but otherwise the last district that was drawn before that was this District 1.
Okay, so honestly, Rhonda, I would start here. How is District 7 is good, because District 7 does combine Southfield and Oak Park already.
Okay.
And so that's actually kind of achieving what you wanted to achieve. So if you want to do it again in a different map, then
No,
Let's see.
if this is the best one to start where the least amount, like I said, because other people have put thought into it. So if this is the best one, then we will use this map.
Yeah, I would start from that one, at least in terms of that particular community.
Okay.
So,
All right, then we're gonna work on this map, John.
Okay, and just to help you, there are 3 districts that are not drawn in this area that are unassigned.
Okay, thank you. So the first thing that I'm going to be looking at, and I've spoke about it a couple times, so nobody will be surprised, is the the Jewish community of interest that I had mentioned before. And I see this map already does have the Oak Park in it and Southfield. So that's a good start. But I think when we're dealing with a Senate map that allows for more population, I think we can pull in some of those other areas where the population lives and kind of give one nice community of interest. So I need, and John, you may need it just a little bit bigger so I can read the names.
Okay.
My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Okay, that's good. And then, yeah. So I'm looking for right now, the specific ones that were named were Southfield, West Bloomfield, Farmington, Huntington Woods, and Oak Park. So I see Bloomfield above. And I see
West Bloomfield is up here.
that's all the way up there.
Yeah.
Rebecca, can you
Commissioner
clarify,
Lane,
was
can
it
you-
Bloomfield or West?
Commissioner Lane, can you name that community of interest again for my notes, please?
Yes, it was the Jewish community of interest.
And what were the neighborhoods?
The neighborhoods I have down, and now I'm asking for clarification from Rebecca because I may have wrote them down wrong. I have Oak Park, Huntington Woods, Farmington, Southfield, and I have West Bloomfield. Was it Bloomfield or West Bloomfield?
it's West Bloomfield.
Okay.
West Bloomfield, I'm sure.
I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that I had it correctly written. So why don't we just, for a quick try, John, and 7 already has all the population it needs, correct?
Yes.
Okay, why don't we pull? And I'm trying to do a quick look here because I have a feeling I'm really going to screw up, especially with 13.
Well,
But I'm going to try it.
right. What you're discussing potentially would be to take portions of 13 and put it into 7, which would
Right.
underpopulate 13, which would have to get its population elsewhere. And then you would overpopulate 7, so it would have to shed some territory potentially over here if you wanted to draw the district you're contemplating.
Okay. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. It never hurts to try. And if it doesn't work, I'll tell you what, though, can we make a copy of this map? Because if I totally screw it up, then they can come back to it.
Okay, so again, so we've carried forward this version 3 that was the version 3 was an incomplete map from yesterday with today's date.
Oh.
So what would the commission like to name this next map that I'm going to make a copy so you can work on?
Oh, shoot.
Let's do today's date and version 5.
Okay, that seems consistent. And let me just go there. Version 5. Okay, so in order to accomplish what you're discussing, you could start a new district and just create exactly what you want and just let the other districts be broken up. Or you could move 7 into 13, and then your new district, if you will, would be 7. And then you would basically keep the same district numbers. 13 would just be underpopulated, and then 7 would be overpopulated, as I described.
Why don't we keep the same district numbers at the moment? That way we're still kind of going in order. And if adjustments need to be made, they can be made. So what I want to do is I want to grab the whole,
You said Farmington. Did you also intend to include Farmington Hills in that description?
well, I think to keep it compact and together, since we have to go to West Bloomfield, I'll say yes.
Okay.
So
all of Farmington Hills and all of Farmington.
yes, please.
Okay, so just to give you an idea, that added 100,000 people.
Okay.
All right, and then I'm just going to click on the entire township without assigning it, so you get an idea of the territory of all of West Bloomfield.
Okay, perfect.
And that's not it. This would be it there. And then you've got internal, you've got Orchard Lake and Kego Harbor and Sylvan Lake, which are relatively small communities, more or less surrounded by the West Bloomfield. And you could split West Bloomfield if you wanted to, but that's the entire township.
That's the entire township. Okay. Rebecca, was there any clarification on a certain area of West Bloomfield where it's more concentrated, or just West Bloomfield?
I can say that there are, there are Jewish people all over West Bloomfield. Like, that's definitely a fact. You got you got the Jewish Community Center there. You have, I mean, it's a very diverse community, but I would say if you're going to do it, keep the whole thing. I would put Orchard Lake and the other lakes with it as well, and, continue doing what you're doing.
Okay. Okay, John, go ahead and add the whole thing for a moment, and then let me see where I would have to make up population for the other ones.
Okay, actually, give me one moment here just to clarify. I believe this is all in 13, not in 23, but I'm just going to lock 13. I'm sorry, lock 23. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that is as we expect. Okay.
Okay, so then,
And you want to Kego Harbor and Sylvan Lake, which are currently all in 13, not taking anything from 23.
yeah.
And that's going to add 70,000.
So then when we look at, and what's left in 13, down 173, which. Okay, Rebecca, this is where I'm going to have you, because you're usually a whiz at running the numbers probably quicker than what I am. Where would you start cutting and adding if I was going to make this, if I'm able to make this a district, where would you recommend that I cut and add different areas? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it looking at this.
I'm sorry, I was not on mute, or I was on mute. Can we slide that active matrix down a little bit, just so I can see? So, I mean, what I would recommend is kind of taking off those eastern areas of, Claus and Royal Oak, and see how much that reduces your population first.
Okay. Okay,
I
John.
mean, you want to leave Huntington Woods and Oak Park, but like Berkeley, Royal Oak, Clausen, Pleasant Ridge, maybe, but Ferndale, I think you could take off as well. And honestly, Ferndale should probably go into Detroit district anyway. So
Okay.
I would kind of take those off and see what the population is, just to see where you're at. And then you'd have to make additional additions to 13.
Right. Okay, John, start unassigning, please. Unassign as much as you need. I'm gonna give you permission, but keep the Huntington Woods, Oak Park, obviously.
Okay, so I'll just, again, the unassigned function generally doesn't like to go in groups, so I'll do doing the time Clausen out, Royal Oak, Hazel Park, Ferndale. And then do you want Royal Oak Township in or out?
I'd take it out.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you could take out Berkeley too.
Berkeley.
And Pleasant Ridge I'd take out too, and then see where your population's at.
You've also got this area that was added in Detroit. Would you take that out?
Yeah, I would.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So I think we determined that would be about 10,000.
Ooh,
There's just the names of the precincts. So you
precinct
just-
numbers, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that leaves you 34,000 over, which is 13% of the district.
Okay. So what else can we zoom in and kind of see what else we can?
How much population is in Beverly Hills? It's sitting at the top of Southfield.
$14,000, that would take off 14,000.
So I'd bring you down to 20. So
Would you, I'm kind of looking, when you say Beverly Hills, should we, you almost have a boot looking, sticking out there. So I wonder if we make it look, take off Beverly Hills and come down to the expressway, is that, or the road there? And
I
go
honestly think the
over?
better place to go would be up Kego Harbor and Sylvan Lake, and take those off and put them into 9, and then adjust the border on 9.
Okay.
I think that would probably make more sense than taking out Beverly Hills.
Okay, John, let's try that then, please.
Okay, I put it in 9, not 13.
Well, you'd have to stretch 13 across to get to it because they're in the upper northeast corner there.
Okay.
I mean, we're still gonna have to address 13 at some point.
Yeah, 13 is 173 off.
Yeah. I mean, can you select Orchard Lake for me? Because I want to see some boundaries. If you can just switch to townships, that would be helpful. Okay, and then what's above it? So that's Kego Harbor, Sylvan Lake. And then what's to the west?
This is all portions of West Bloomfield.
That's what I thought. It wraps around. And that's giving us 6,000. What happens if you select those precincts to the west? Yeah,
And do you want them in 13 or not?
to try to put them into 13 and take them out of 7.
Okay. Okay, that's 16,000 and you're looking to lose 27,000.
Go ahead and do that and add that one additional precinct. Yeah, right there.
Okay, so now you're 6,200, you're within the higher end of the population tolerance, like that.
So that solves 7, but then you still have to kind of deal with 13. 13's a bit of a mess.
Right.
So you'd probably have to come down and grab Northville and put that into Novi, and then readjust 6's borders a little bit again.
Readjust 6 again. Okay, now when we look at Novi, and this is what I'm saying, if we're going into other areas, which obviously we have to do, are there any specific areas that Novi should stay with? Has there been communities of interest mentioned there?
So we did have a API, Asian Pacific Islander
Okay.
group in Novi that wanted to be kept together, but those are currently together in this map. I believe it was right around that 96 boundary. There were specific precincts, but they already are together. And so I don't think putting Northville and Novi together is an odd match at all, honestly. I think that's, you know.
So if you're looking just at the numbers,
agree.
if you look just at the numbers, Northville plus Livonia would get you almost the 148 you need.
Okay. Would that make sense to have Livonia, Northville, Novi? I mean, does it make sense? I guess is what I'm asking.
It's a little odd and twisted, I'll be honest with you. So
It's a little odd, but
Odd and
it would
twisted,
also
yeah.
keep Livonia whole though, wouldn't it?
right.
So, I mean, that is one of the things that we had heard. So it's almost like you would be satisfying a wish. I mean, it might be odd, but do we try that route?
I mean, it's a draft map, so go ahead and try
Right.
it, you know.
I know. I'm about, I want them to be compact and
Well, then
nice,
then
but I
you would
want
have to
people to go
push.
together.
You would have to, if Northville and Livonia go to 13, then that other district would have to push east and could maybe straighten out one a little bit because it's kind of wonky too.
Right. And if we put Livonia with Northville, my thinking is then we have open area as we go towards Detroit that might
be helpful.
Right. Go ahead and try it, John. It may not look pretty at the moment, but I would like to see.
Okay, so we're going to go with Northville Township and then Livonia.
Right. And
Okay, and that's 127.
and is that Commissioner Callahan that I keep hearing?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'll go on mute.
Oh, no, that's fine. I was just going to say, if you have other recommendations too, I'm more than happy to hear it. Obviously, I'm a Northern commissioner, so input from people that know the area better than myself is appreciated.
So you have Garden City, and then is this what are we looking at here? This is part of Westland.
Westland, yeah.
So you'd have that, which would allow you to not touch 5, or I hesitate to say it, but you also have the Plymouths you could look at.
I would do the Garden City Westland, put them in.
Yeah.
I think that's going to get you where you need to be population wise.
Do that, please.
So that's going to be 27. That's going to be too much.
Too much on the other side, yeah.
Well, we have to add in this. I think that was about 10,000, but again, we can try it and then take something out or not. So that's 27 and we need 21. And that doesn't include the intervening territory. So another possibility would be to take the intervening territory or a little more of Westland, and then you could potentially put Garden City in 5 if that made sense.
And what's 5 looking at right now? Population.
Currently on the money.
It's on the money.
Yeah, but if you took, for example, this portion out, let's say it's 10,000 roughly, and then a little more of Westland, if that made sense, then you could put Garden City in with 5.
Okay, let's try that. Let's see what it looks like.
Okay, so
As long
first,
as I'm not breaking up any communities of interest, that's my big thing. I don't want to break up any potential communities of interest. So if anybody knows of any that any moves I make are breaking up, please let me know.
okay, so these are the precincts in Westland, that's 15,000 and you need 21, although you have some play with the deviation, so this will be pretty close.
Okay, go ahead.
So on 13, you are, 6,000 is within the tolerance. It's on the low side. And then you've got Garden City as an orphan at the moment, in the sense that it's not connected to the remains of 6.
Okay, okay. And okay, this is where I need help. Garden City, would it fit people that are from the area? Would Garden City go better with Westland or towards the Dearborn Heights area?
It honestly can go either way.
It could go either way. And then yeah, John, I was going to ask about that. You had your cursor on Southgate. So does Southgate?
I'm just looking at population. I don't know that that makes a lot of sense, but I'm just pointing out that if you put Garden City into 2, you could shed Southgate into 1 or 4 or something else.
That's what I was looking at. When you had your
But,
cursor there,
yeah.
I was
I
trying.
don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just looking at.
I personally, being from the area, think that putting Garden City in with Dearborn Heights and Dearborn probably makes more sense than having Southgate in with Dearborn Heights and Dearborn. I mean, Southgate kind of more naturally affiliates with kind of Lincoln Park or Wyandotte or Taylor than the Dearborn Heights area. So I think
And
that makes more sense.
if you did go with Southgate into 1, that would free up more of this western portion that the discussion yesterday was generally not too happy with.
Perfect. So
And-
let's do that. Let's put the Garden City with the Dearborn Heights.
Okay. And then if
Southgate with 1.
Southgate with 1, okay.
Yes, please.
And there will still be other adjustments, but that should be approximately population-wise close to where you want to be.
Okay.
Okay, so 1 is over, but we knew that would happen. 2 is fine, positive 0.5%. 5 was not touched. 13 is on the low side, but it works.
Okay.
And again, just reviewing 13, so you have that northern portion of West Bloomfield and the little towns. You have all of Livonia, the Northvilles, Novi. Okay.
Okay.
And then one is overpopulated, and then 6 is hardly a district.
Okay, so then somebody else can play with those. I accomplished.
Commissioner Lang, if I may,
Sure.
why don't you, can you go back up to the West Bloomfield area? I think a configuration like this could work if West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, Gigo Harbor, and Sylvan Lake were included with 7. I'm wondering if there's another
We tried that.
area on the other side that could be, because it's not really too many people, right? Do those areas of Huntington Woods have to be included in this, or could you maybe?
Yes, that's the one that was specific comments about the Huntington Woods.
I was gonna
So,
say the same thing. That's the
Yeah.
Jewish community of interest that was identified. So that's what she's trying to keep together.
yeah. So for right now, I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to see if I could incorporate all of the ones that were identified and be able to put them all into one district.
Is it West Bloomfield split though?
Yes, it is.
They had to for the population, but the majority of it is in there. So in order to keep the population where it needed to be, it kind of had to be.
So that portion of the community of interest didn't make it in.
If I could fit it in, I would.
Right.
But no, the around the Orchard Lake, in order to keep those precincts or townships whole and not split up the precincts and townships too, we kind of had to take it that way.
What about Southfield Township, not Southfield City?
Yeah, we were calling that Beverly Hills, but I guess it's township.
Yeah, and I'm trying to keep it as compact as I can. I see what you're saying.
I just, I see what you're saying and I want it to work. I really do. Cause I think it could actually make some sense. But I think with it now, not only is West Bloomfield split, but that's also split up from the Lakes who, were vocal. So, but
Oh, let me
that's
ask
just
you,
my-
Commissioner Eid, I apologize. Let me ask you, were the lakes kept together in a house district?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think
So
that house
it-
district supports
been-
this community of interest, the Jewish community of interest.
Right. But it's kind of been the precedent of this commission that we try our best to get the communities in at least one map. And if I have to split up the community, I'm looking at it in terms of I got more of this community of interest into this one district than what it had. And if I had to break up a little bit of that, at least there's a whole district in the house. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm going to stick with what we got for now. I mean, I'm sure changes will be made. Changes are always made, but at least I tried to listen to the voices that the community wasn't represented yet in the congressional nor the house map. So that was my goal, at least to honor in one set of maps. So I'm going to call it good for the moment. The numbers are still good. The majority of the community is represented, and I didn't screw up the maps as bad as what I thought I probably would. So that's an accomplishment in itself. So I think I'm good at this point.
Commissioner Zatello?
Yeah, I actually like this district. I'm not happy that you have to split West Bloomfield. I think that's a shame, but they are together in the congressional map and they are together in the House map. And, the Jewish community of interest really was neglected in all three of our past maps, particularly the congressional, where you have Southfield pulled out and put in with like a Wayne County centric district. It really just ripped that entire Jewish COI out of its general place. So I actually like this district. I appreciate what you're trying to do, and I'm sure the Jewish community does as well.
Okay. Commissioner Lang, does that conclude your turn?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, next up is Commissioner Lett. So Commissioner Lett, you have this map version 5, you have the version 3 that we were working on earlier this afternoon. You have version 4 that Commissioner Zatello was working on yesterday, or you could start your own.
Let's continue with this one for a little bit.
Okay, just so we know what districts are not complete, District 1, as we discussed, is over. There was discussion about adjusting this area in the west. District 6 is substantially under. And then in addition, there are 3 completely undrawn districts.
So we have District 11, 8, and 6 are all
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, go ahead.
Right, 11, 8, 6, and 3 are all under.
3 is not drawn at all. So 3, 8, and 11 are not drawn at all. 6 is way under. So some of this unassigned population would be available for 6 to complete it, plus the overage in District 1.
Are the numbers in the difference column for 3, 8, and 11, the populations?
That's the ideal district size, yes.
Okay.
So
that's
nothing is,
So we don't know how many are in, what the population is in the unassigned districts, or do we know that?
it would basically be 3 whole districts plus about 50% of another district. So the number is here. The unassigned is 927. So what are you, 265? So let's see, that's 70, 89. Yeah, so that's about 100 and so yeah, that's what we're expecting. So here's the 171 minus the 25. So it's 150 plus 3 whole districts are in the unassigned area.
I'm just looking, so bear with me.
Did you want me to zoom anywhere in particular while you're looking, or is this good?
No, we're
right.
good. So 1 needs some population.
1 needs to lose population.
Lose population.
Yes. So the discussion yesterday was potentially taking this western portion out.
How much? Let's look at the unassigned that is to the east, immediately to the east of the 6 boundary. What do we have? Who do we have there?
It's all,
Ferndale?
this is all unassigned in Detroit.
Okay.
And then let's see. So this is Telegraph and the boundary with Redford and Detroit. So 6 is looks like all of Redford and this area here. What is this? Losser of Detroit.
Is there question for the group, is Redford and Detroit compatible there?
So I wouldn't say that they're incompatible.
You wouldn't say they're incompatible?
Yeah, I mean,
I agree.
yeah, I mean, I think they can go
It's not
together.
odd to put them together.
Yeah, it's not odd to put them together. I agree.
Okay. So what do we have to the east of 6?
Again, this is all Detroit here.
And that part of 1, Steve, that's abutting up against 6, that was put there, drawn there for population purposes only, not because of any particular affinity with the rest of that district.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense to put that into 6 than it does to have it continue to be part of 1 if you need population.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah, 1 is over.
Okay, I agree with that too, because 1 is sticking out, and if I go east into Detroit, then it's gonna look even worse and not be very compact. So let's take the northwestern part of 1 and put it with 6.
Okay, do you want the neighborhoods on at the moment or not so much?
Sure. Let's see how that looks.
Okay. So this would put Brightmoor in this section towards 6.
All right, Detroit experts, are we, if we put that out of 1 into 6, are we making some huge mistake? Or are those reasonable neighborhoods to put in there?
I think it's reasonable.
I think it'd be all right.
All right. So we'll do that.
Okay, so that's 12,000. Did you want to go south in this area first before continuing east?
Yes, let's do it that way.
Okay. Okay, that's 31,000. So assigning that, and I'll make this adjustment down here. Okay, 6 still needs more. 1 is within tolerance on the low side. And then I will adjust this area back into 2. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the neighborhood just for a second. So while 1 is on the population, this may not be the way you all had talked yesterday about configuring 1. So let's just take a look. Okay. So again, 1 is on the population, but there had been some discussion about either moving more along the river or possibly moving a little more north rather than west. And then 6 is still needing 140,000.
How much, what's the population in 1 that is intruding into 6 right now?
This section here, okay.
Yeah.
That might be a split. So 16, 26, 33, 43, 48, 58, 64, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,000. Just up to the road here.
If we put that in, we're crossing Grand River, is that going to do any damage to neighborhoods?
You might look a little bit about this neighborhood here, but the others would be in alignment just going up to this road here. And there was also some discussion about keeping, what was it? Was it Grandmont or Rosedale, Brightmore?
Rosedale Park, or I'm sorry, North Rosedale Park, Grandmont, Minnock Park, and then there's Grandmont 2, which is on the other side of the freeway, which is that other section you were just highlighting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right there.
Grandmont 1,
They're a
Grandmont 2.
community of interest.
Okay, so you would potentially want those with 6 anyway.
Okay, so we're looking down there, it's people were looking at Schoolcraft in Southfield, and if we just take out that one bit, well, we could come over and that would look pretty good. So let's do that. Let's
Okay.
take Southfield, go up Grand River and take that northern part.
Okay, so do that first, and then you can determine, we still were looking at Grandmont and Schoolcraft.
Yeah, I hear
Okay.
you.
So continue, and again, now we're underpopulated in 1, but we knew that would happen.
Right.
Okay, so you want to take Schoolcraft and the rest of the Grandmonts, or stop?
I think it makes sense to to take those myself, but I'm willing to, anybody else got an opinion? You guys are from Detroit, not me.
I think they would be more with that to go into than 1.
Okay. So put the Grandmas together and take all of Schoolcraft and Southfield.
Yeah. Plus, I think it'll make 1 a little bit more contiguous.
Okay, so make that assignment first. And then I'll just turn the neighborhood off again so you can look at what you have. Now, 1 is short by 28,000 people, and 6 is still way short at 117,000.
Well, 1 can expand in a lot of places, and
Sure.
6 can basically only go one direction right now, and that's east. So, if 6 needs to expand, I would think you need to either just take that top portion or take the rest of that that's on the top of Dearborn, that's in 1 right now. Go ahead and add it to 6, take what 6 needs, and then you can build 1 out in another direction.
Okay.
This is a suggestion.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, there's nowhere else to go without starting to move lots of things around. So let's take what I see labeled there is, I believe, 10.
Yeah, this is that the Lodge Freeway, I think.
Well, now
Yep,
we
that's
better put the
right.
neighborhoods back on, so we don't want to have half a neighborhood on with a lodge running down the middle of it. Of course, we didn't build the lodge, somebody else did.
Okay, so the 2 ideas were to take from 1 or to take from this, or a combination of both.
Well, I think the idea, at least initially, is to take from the unassigned. That's the unassigned area that we're looking at, right?
Correct.
Okay. We still got excess in 1. Pull out so I can get a bigger picture.
Sorry, we do not have excess in 1, but you have excess geographically, if you want to think of it that way.
Okay. Okay. These figures are awfully small, John.
Yes, give me a moment. I can.
No, that's okay. I'm just making a rhetorical comment.
I have to figure out how to do that again. I forget if I have to. I have to adjust it somewhere else to do that.
No, they're okay. So 6, Back, pull me back so I can see the bigger picture here. I guess I'm thinking ahead a couple of steps and take the northwest portion of 1 and put it in 6, and then
Okay.
go northeast with 1. What do people think about that? I don't want to get, what I don't want to do is get the same configuration on 1 that we had before. End up with that.
I think it's already quite a bit different than what we had before, in my opinion. I mean, you do have a river there, so you know you have to go up the river somehow, but I think it's already pretty different than what we had before.
Well, somebody make a call over to Windsor and see if they want to give us some land. Did we, one before did not go all the way up to the eastern edge of Detroit, did it?
No, I don't believe so. We can put up that overlay if you want, though, Commissioner Lett.
Sure, let's see where we're at.
Okay.
Okay, so the original one, the Linden one had Taylor, Allen Park, Melvindale, and then it went up into this area.
So if we run 1 up the river, paying attention to communities of interest in neighborhoods, that should work pretty well. Any comments? Anybody?
I think it's how we ended up doing the Senate.
Say that again. I couldn't hear it. Right.
I think that we did the same thing in the other map before we ran up towards Grosse Pointe with that district.
Okay, gotcha.
Commissioner Lang is her hand up, I think.
Oh, Commissioner Lang, is your hand up?
Yes,
I don't
I
see
was
them.
just waiting to be called.
There you are. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I just have a question. He was asking about whether going up the river or whatever. We received a lot of public comment about downriver being a community of interest. So if it's taken, well, up the river, up, down the river.
What is downriver? Excuse me, I just need some clarification. What is downriver?
That's what I'm asking, Commissioner Curry.
Downriver is south. Upper river is north.
Okay.
There was public comment about downriver being a community of interest. So if you take it, the district following the river up, would that, and Commissioner Curry, you might be the one to ask, would that upset the community if it's going up the entire way along the river, or should it kind of be separated between upriver and downriver?
Now, as you remember, when I did the map 2 days ago, I had it all connected. So
Okay.
I went down and kept it going up.
Okay, yes, you did. So you feel that that would be okay with the community?
Well, I was playing with it, so I'm not at the final say on that. I want to work on it a little bit more because I'm very familiar with the whole total Detroit, period.
Okay.
Very familiar with the Downriver, the Melvindale, the Dearborn, all those areas because I stay there and I've been around for 60 years. So I know what's what. I know Rebecca has lived there too, but I'm still in Detroit. I've been here, haven't moved out. And but yeah, I had the downriver, the south, as Steve said, hooked up going to the upper, whatever he was saying. But I'm not through with it. I just want to work on all of it a little bit more. I got a headache, so excuse me, my head is beating real hard and I'm not functioning at my normal capacity today. So I don't even feel like just trying to catch it and hold my head. So
Commissioner Muldoon?
Yeah, generally downriver is Lincoln Park South when people are referring to downriver. So Lincoln Park, Wyandotte, Southgate, Groseal, going south is considered where downriver starts technically.
and that's true.
Commissioner Satella?
Keep in mind, these are Senate districts and they're going to encompass many more neighborhoods than we did with the House district, so.
Absolutely, right.
So you got downriver neighborhoods that are going to be included with upriver neighborhoods just because of the geography.
Absolutely, and I agree with you, Steve.
So here's what I want to try. Unless
Well-
somebody else, I'm not seeing anybody on my screen other than Bethany. Hi, Bethany. So anybody got any more comments? Otherwise, I'm going to start making some moves.
I actually did. Chair called on me, so.
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you. I was just gonna say what's downriver is a little bit debated sometimes in that area, especially, there is a map we received at one point and supposedly there's, I believe, 10 downriver communities. So Southgate, Wyandotte, Trenton, Riverview, Brownstown, Flat Rock, Rockwood, Gibraltar, Groseal, those are all considered downriver. Some people would say like Taylor, Romulus, Huron also. Some people would say Allen Park, Lincoln Park, Melvindale, also River Rouge, Ecorse. So
Well, they are
generally those kind of, anything south of Dearborn, Inkster, Westland kind of is generally considered downriver. But if I say that, you're going to get someone on the portal saying Romulus isn't part of downriver. But, so like I said, there's a little controversy about it.
Romulus isn't a part of downriver.
Some people say it is. So.
Not though.
All right, Commissioner Lett. Keep going.
Yeah, also Commissioner Lett, at this point, just to get the reference, District 1 is within 10%, so it's not too far off where you need to be on population.
Okay, I want to take the northwest part of 1 right there and put it in 6 and make the cutoff the going north from over further east. Yeah, right in that area.
Okay, that
Let's
will
do-
be quite a bit. Okay, so you're going to stay south of Grand River for 6 for the moment?
Yes.
Okay. So I believe that the areas that are in 1 in this area are whole neighborhoods. We can confirm that in a moment. Let me clear that because that was not what I wanted.
Must be a nice day out there, Mr. Morgan. We can hear the birds chirping.
I don't know that that's me, but yeah, it's a little cloudy, but it is nice. Okay, I think that's approximately what you wanted. We can make adjustments as you wish. All right, so that leaves you 79,000 under in 6 and 66,000 under in 1.
What,
I'm just adjusting this neighborhood boundary, and so you have to go one way or the other on this boundary here. So let me unselect that so you can consider that.
okay. So if we go north of 6 into the unassigned area of Detroit, and if we were to pick 8 Mile as the northern boundary, and what is the north-south road? They're around Sherwood Forest University. Anybody know?
Mm-mm.
One more time, Steve.
Looking for that north-south boundary road,
North over here.
right there where his arrow is.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Trying to get the reference there.
Livernois?
Could be. I think so. Yeah. It looks
Yeah, I
like
think
that
it's
is.
Livernois.
Yeah, there it is, right up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
if I put that section in to 6, am I causing any heartaches for neighborhoods by doing so? And are there communities of interest in there that would not be normally into 6 or realistically available to go into 6. So I guess we need the neighborhoods back on.
Yeah, it looks like Livernois is following the neighborhood boundaries until it gets down to about here.
Yeah, I think you can put all of those neighborhoods west of Livernois into 6.
Well, let's try that, John. Let's put that trapezoid in there.
Okay. Just don't ask me to calculate the area of that at the moment.
All right.
Okay, that's way over. Sorry, before I assign that, that's 105,000 and you need 79. So you could do that. Although, hang on, let me take that back a little bit. I've overlapped a little bit, so it might be 95. And you need 80, so close. You want to put it in and then take out or do something?
Yeah, let's do that, and we can figure out if we want to leave it.
Okay, yeah, so that's 18,000 over. And I'll turn off the neighborhoods for a second. And 1 is still under by quite a bit too, if you wanted to make an adjustment between 1 and 6 here. Or take out some of what we just put in.
Well, I don't want to adjust 1 up that way. So I would rather take off some of the eastern boundary of 6.
Okay, on the northern end or on the
Yes,
southern?
right where your
Up here.
cursor was.
Okay.
Just kind of shave off population.
Okay, so put the neighborhoods back on. So this area out.
Yeah, we need to get 18,000 off.
Yeah.
So you got 15.
So 30, 42, 52, 62, 70, 80, 12.
I think
15.
Yeah,
It's close.
Want to, all right, let's do that, see where it comes out.
On this side. Okay. Okay, and this one I think was split. All right, so where are we on 6? Yeah, so that's within tolerance at the moment. And then I'll round that neighborhood off. Okay, so the Chalfont, we could potentially take the rest of that in so it's not split, or take it out. Right now, you're over a little bit in 6.
Well, let's put the rest of Chalfont in.
Okay. Okay, so 3,800 over in 6, 1.46 deviation, following neighborhood boundaries. And again, this one here, I'd say leave it for the moment, because one way or another, this will get slightly split because of the way the box are.
All right, pull back so I can see the big picture, please.
Yeah. So 6 is essentially complete as drawn. 1 still needs to add 66,000. And you have options, 3 different directions, maybe.
Okay. I will pass the baton. Thank you for all your help, people.
Thank you, Commissioner Lau. Okay, next up to map is Commissioner Muldoon. So you have this map.
We just keep working on this one. I guess we can get another one completed. I think we'll start. So 6 is done now.
Yeah, you need
under
66,001. That's the current district that's partially done, and then there's 3 whole districts that have not been drawn at all.
Let's just start at the north side and work our way down. Kind of give us an idea where one's gonna have to end eventually. If we start at the north, start a new district.
A new district rather than worry about. Okay.
Yeah, that way we kind of filled in down to one, and one might end up. It'll dictate kind of, I think, where one will end.
Okay, so do you want to work in Macomb County, Oakland County, or Detroit?
Macomb.
Okay.
Mount Clemens, Clinton. Start filling our way down until we get population.
Okay. So this would be District 11 or 8 or 3?
11
Probably
sounds
11.
good.
11, all right. All right, and then we'll you want to take the unassigned area? Is that what you'd like to do? Okay.
Yeah, take all the unassigned area to be Macomb, Clinton.
Okay, and then I'm going to, you don't intend to adjust 24 or 12 at the moment?
Nope.
Okay, so I'll lock those. Okay, so that's 73,000. And then go down into Clinton Township now.
Yep. Now is Mount Clemens split, or is that whole?
Mount Clemens is whole. I think Clinton
Just the way the wording is.
I think Clinton is split. I have to look and see.
Mr. Moore, could you just change that color whenever you get a chance? It's a little
Yeah.
hard.
All right, so changing 11. Okay, so that is, you need 120
Halfway there.
more, so you're 144. So you've got Fraser and Roseville.
Yeah, just keep coming down to, I guess, 696 there.
Okay. Okay, so that is 197,000. So you have Warren, you have the rest of Roseville, and you have East Point.
Put the rest of Roseville in.
Okay. Okay, so you are short by 50, and East Point is 34, and then Warren, if you were to split it, you could go along this area. Or you could affect District 10 if you wanted to.
No, I think somebody drew District 10 specifically for I guess we'd split one. So Warren is, we'll go towards Warren. So it doesn't get too long of a district.
Okay.
We took 11 mile north.
Let's see, 13, 12. Yes,
Yeah,
11,
696.
11 miles, 696. Yeah.
Yeah. And put that area in.
Okay, so this section here in.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so that's 31,000 of the 50 that you're looking for.
So keep going west.
This section here.
Yep.
Okay, that's about what you need. That is what you need.
Oh, that's good. As it gives us, at least gives us our population.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, so that's one whole district. So there are two whole districts plus 25% of the district in the unassigned area.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Muldoon. Next up is Commissioner Orton.
Okay, so I think I want to take a look at yesterday's version 3 to see where we left off on that.
Okay, got it. Let me think about this for a second. Okay, so save this. Okay, so this was before Commissioner Lang worked on this. This was 3, but then yesterday's version 3 is here. So roll back to yesterday.
I think so.
Okay. or let me think about this. They might be one and the same, but I've lost track. Give me a moment. Let's go back to yesterday's version.
Yeah, let's look at that.
The
I
one
think yesterday's
that-
version was worked on by and was turned into today's version 1.
It was today's version. The version stayed, but the date changed.
Oh,
Right.
that's right.
So
That's
it's
right.
today's version 3. I think the only difference is from this and that is the district that I drew with Troy and Sterling Heights.
Yes, you are correct. Thank you. I know there was something that we did before Commissioner Lang worked on. That's correct. Okay. So Commissioner Orton, this is the state of things as they ended yesterday.
Okay, and then show the one from this version, but today.
Okay, so it's going to be, I believe it's going to be District 10, which I'll show in a moment. It's going to be, what we say, Sterling Heights, Troy, and Madison Heights.
Okay.
And then the balance of Utica and the other township up here. Okay, so it'll be that. So I will load that. So-
Ms. Shard, do you have your hand up? I think I saw it went down.
I was just going to help speak to the versions and the changes that had occurred, but it sounds like you all have it under control.
Thank you.
Okay, so wow. Okay, maybe not.
Uh-oh.
Maybe not. Uh-oh. I mean, I think I can add it to this, or maybe we didn't give it a new version number.
Well, you definitely saved it. I think Commissioner Lang asked for a copy.
Yeah. Okay, so date 5. Okay. So let me do this.
It's okay with me if we go back to yesterday's version, but if you want to try and figure this out, that's fine.
Okay, so let me look at the version 5 here for just a second.
Yep.
I thought version 5 was the changes Commissioner Lang just did last.
Yes, that's correct, but it's going to contain the District 10 that Commissioner Ede drew right here. So I just want to confirm that that's the district there. Okay, so I think the easiest thing to do would be to just add that District 10 into the version 3 with today's date. Does that sound reasonable, Commissioner Ede?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go to today's version 3, redo it.
Yeah. Okay, that should only take a moment, so I don't think it'll take the commission's time away very much.
No, it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Then Commissioner Orton, you can decide if you want to work on that or if you want to go back to yesterday.
Okay, so today's date, 25, version 3, opening that. Okay, so we're going to create a District 10 very quickly here. And we can start with townships. Okay, so it's going to be Sterling Heights, Troy, Utica, Madison Heights, okay, and then we're going to take the balance of the Shelby, and then we add Ferndale, Royal Oak, and then a section here, and that'll just, right?
You got it.
Okay. Yes, and it's true. Sometimes I see voting precincts and townships in my sleep. So that takes care of 10. 10 is on the money, 1674. I'm just going to write that down. Check that later. Okay, and then Cole Townships here. And just to go and save that.
Oh man, you have overlays from 2021 loaded up.
Yeah, I even have a couple of other overlays. They stay in my machine. I'd have to delete them manually, I think. All right, hang on here. Detroit Road. The other option is I can load this as a I can load the other map as a layer. I think we can also approximate here.
Yes, I think it was just Greenfield to 7 Mile Lodge. Those two blocks.
Yep, that sounds right. Now what I'll do is I'll write down the population total and I'll check that offline, and if there's a problem, I'll let you know.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, so real quick, we're gonna do the precincts into 7. These 7s plus 32, 50 as drawn. Okay, so again, save that.
Okay, so that's where version 3 was at from earlier today. Commissioner Orton, go ahead.
Okay, so do you want to continue to work on that version 3 that Commissioner Eid was working on?
I think I'd
in
like
that
to go to
state?
yesterday's version 3.
All right, so do you want to, I don't know if you want to copy this as a, what, version 6 for today's date? I guess that'd be the consistency,
Okay,
Jim.
or whatever program is. So that's keeping the 24th date.
Yeah, I think I want to change that to the 25th, right? Yes, I did. Sorry about that. That. And this one I can delete. Here, and then this one will open. Okay, so this does not have the District 10 that Commissioner E drew. It does not have the adjustments to 7. It does have the District 1 that was drawn. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 districts that are on.
Okay.
Wait, was that the only difference between the two?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can you zoom in just a little bit so I can see?
Sorry, a second here. Names. All right, so those are the population. I can put the names on, but the underlying map has most of the names.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I have a question for commissioners and John. So District 1. I know that this was worked on yesterday to make this configuration. Do we have any of the ones we've been working on where District 1 goes up along the water to the gross points? Is that an
Well,
option that we have?
Commissioner Curry originally drew one that way, I believe, and it went up and included Belle Isle and the neighborhoods
right.
on the river with that. I think that got backed out by someone else. I don't think we still have that version.
That was the first one we did.
I think we
Right. Oh, right.
And it's still there.
Oh, can we see if that's still there? Oh, is that what you're doing, John?
It's in version 4 as well.
Yes.
It's really the first one we worked on.
Okay. I thought maybe that got undone, but
It may have gotten undone, but this was the one that was saved.
Yeah,
I saved it as a shape file, and to Commissioner Zatella's point, even though that was an incomplete plan at the time, I think I uploaded it incomplete.
Yeah. Because I want to work on it some more whenever.
I think that's a better District 1 than the one I drew, Cynthia.
Well,
but keep in mind it had Taylor, pardon me, Allen Park.
Yeah, I want to make some changes to it when I get back around to my turn. So.
what I think I would like to do is, because this is a copy, so there's still the original one. I think I would like to change District 1 just to try a different option and see what people think.
Do you want to do you want to just delete District 1 completely and start over, or do you want to keep this and then just back out of it?
Yeah, I want to back out of the part that's over District 2, that's north of District 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and then add to the east. So
Okay.
however you think it's easiest, quickest to do it.
Delete it.
Well, you do have the option of deleting it. That's true. Another option would be to use a District 3 as a holding district.
Yeah, you can do that. Just we're gonna have to start one of those anyway, so that would be fine.
Okay. That just allows me to bulk assign easier rather than unassign one by one.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And you can take that over, Leah.
All right. All right, so I'm gonna lock District 6 for the moment.
And 2 if you would like to.
Yeah, I guess I can do that. I'm pretty sure that these are whole precincts though, but I understand. Okay. So we're going into District 3. Step bumps. All right, let's see if it'll let me do this. Yes, yes it did. All right. That one's partial, not partial. It's not partial. All right, that's part of it. Do a quick save. Okay, how far over to about
Yeah,
here?
yeah, kind of right where your cursor is, at least. We'll go that far.
Back to precincts. No, I don't do this. Okay. I didn't go quite as far as you said exactly, but that's close to where you want it to be.
Okay, so we can come back to that part later. If you move the matrix. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So I want to go I just see how much population is clear over to the eastern edge of, so clear to District 12 and from the freeway under. Yeah, basically there. Just if you can capture it to see how much population we're talking about.
Okay, and then we'll go back to the water blocks in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so not looking at the neighborhoods, but just that generally following the freeway, that's 65,000.
Mhm. I think complete it, following the freeway, clear up in that little section. Here.
There here,
Mhm.
all of it.
I think so. Well, back out just a minute and let me look. That's fine, but
All right, well, let me assign that, and then if you want to undo part of that, we can.
okay.
undo. Okay.
Okay, can you zoom into that last little part that you did so I can see, and could you put on the neighborhoods?
Yep. Okay, so this is your Cornerstone English.
Yeah. Okay, so where you had stopped was good, I think. So take out Morningside.
down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I will unassign that, but it should be fairly easy.
Mhm.
Okay. And then these will adjust the line so that Morningside is completely out.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. Oops, not what I wanted to do. Okay. And then put this one in.
Yes, please. And those two low zero blocks up above can stay unassigned. That's fine. Oh no.
Keep making the same mistake there. All right, let's see what this does. I think that's the one. Okay, so those two unassigned.
Yeah, unassigned, please.
Okay. And then up here, you wanted to unassign that. That. Okay. All right, and then we'll come back to that in a moment. Zoom out for you. Okay, so there are a couple of neighborhood splits here we can look
Right.
at. And then we are looking at 29,000 more people. And turn off the neighborhoods. Okay, so that's the state of things, needing 30,000 people for one. And remember, as we said before, this version of one does not go to Taylor. So it's Lincoln Park, Ecorse, River Rouge,
Mhm.
Corktown, Mexican Town, downtown, and then the area. And I'll add these water blocks in.
Okay.
I can do that now, or I can come back and do that.
You can come back and do that on your own, is fine.
Okay.
So I'm thinking to just go up a little bit more like towards Hamtramck, but not including Hamtramck, to add some in and keep communities whole. But does anyone have an opinion of whether that would be better, or to take the Morningside and East English Village area in with this district? Any opinions?
Yeah, I like what you originally said.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
keep doing. I like what you've done here so far. Keep it going. I think, Morningside, East English Village, Debney, Outer Drive, that whole area identifies much more with the east side, and parts of Macomb County than they do downriver that this is connected to.
Okay. Yeah, so thanks, John. If you can just choose some of the neighborhoods.
Okay,
don't-
but
I would-
not the airport one.
Right, leave that one out, but
Okay, we'll
choose.
come right to Hamtramck. Okay, so that's 5,000 of the 30. All right, so I'll add those in.
Okay.
And then you want to add this.
Yeah, I
The
do
whole
want to add.
precinct is 2,000, but just this portion. Oh, it's the assembly fund. There you go.
Okay. So, okay, you can leave that one out. It doesn't matter. But over here at,
Okay, I did. I just want to see it's not part of the city of Hamtramck. So yes, put that in, or don't. It's not 2,000. It's less than.
right. Leave it for now.
Okay.
And go over towards Boston Edison and Narden Park. And we'll have to take quite a chunk there, I think. And I don't know the specifics about these neighborhoods and the community of interest. I know Brittany talked about each one of them.
Well, what might help, I wonder, with our District 1 in the house map, how far up around did we go? Did we include Narden Park in that district?
I don't remember. We
I
could
think
do an overlay.
I think we might have stopped at Midwest. But these districts are much bigger.
Yep.
An overlay might help if you want to look at, including what we did in the house map in here as well.
Okay, let's go a little further first. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Go, like finish out Russell Woods. Yeah, those neighborhoods.
Okay, I'm going to leave this for a second because you might still want that. You're on the money right now. If you want to look at the neighborhoods.
I think unassign that little portion there.
Yep.
And then we'll add in the 2011 that was down below Hamtramck.
Yeah. And again, if it's the assembly plant, it probably isn't going to be
Right.
that much population.
But this neighborhood right here is big and it wraps around, so.
Okay, and then we're gonna add this in potentially. Yeah, that's what I thought. Zero, almost zero population. Actually, it is zero population.
Okay, we'll go ahead and assign it. You could take off that little top part. Yeah, if
I can't.
you can't.
It's gonna be this
One
whole block, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so let's save again. I'm just looking at the neighborhood edges.
yeah, right there.
This would go unassigned, I guess.
Well, I'm not concerned about that so much because it's zero, but the little part that sticks up with population.
That won't.
No,
oh, this,
the
yeah,
over
that-
here, yeah.
I see. And these others, let's see.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and then just add this one in here. And then take a look again.
Okay. Yeah, so are those split blocks? That neighborhood is not
Yeah,
blocks.
yeah, I'll show you. So I'll just select them.
It has to choose to go one way or the other.
Yeah, hang on.
Okay.
So here, here.
Okay. That's fine then. Leave it like it is.
Okay, so then, with the exception of the water blocks that I'll adjust, that completes the district. It's 5,100 under, but that's within 2.5%, negative 1.93.
Okay. I think I'm good with that. We'll see what the public thinks about that option. So I'll pass the baton.
I gotta say, I like it too, Commissioner Orden. I personally, I like it a little better than how it was before, when it kind of curved around into what that placeholder District 3 is.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, because I think, like I said, I agree with it. I think it could be copied into the one that includes the district that I drew earlier. But I was wondering, was there any reason why you decided to work on this map that didn't include that versus the one that did include that?
There was something on that one that I didn't like, but I have to look at it to see.
All right, no worries. We
remind
can
myself what that was.
do that next week. But I do like what you did here better than the other one. And now the other one is in that other map that we worked on earlier today. So we
Well,
can,
someone can change that if they want.
yeah. Or we can just copy this in next time. But it is 6:45. Commissioner Zatella is next, but it's 6:45. So I think we should start with her next time around, unless do you want to do something right now, Commissioner Zatella?
I do actually, yes. So John, if we can go to yesterday's version 4, so it's 042424 version 4. And I'm typically pretty quick, so I think we can get the things I want done in probably the next 5 minutes.
Okay, all right. So let me just save, close.
Yep, and I'm gonna want you to make a copy of that. So if you just want to go ahead and make a copy and wherever we're at on our numbering for today, I think.
Okay, so you wanted the version 4, that was the one you primarily worked on, yes?
Yep.
So copy today's date. And you want a new number for that?
Yep.
All right, 7, is 7 sound right, or is it 8?
I think so, yeah.
7 is correct, I think, okay.
So it's 042524 version 7, right?
All right, so I made the copy, plan manager, and opening the copy. Let's hope it's what we expect.
So I'm not seeing your screen anymore. I don't know if it's not.
No,
Okay.
it's not shared. I was gonna make a comment, so it's not being shared. Just a second. All right. So if I can, just a quick comment. I did receive a request from a commissioner to help with some map drawing, and I will talk with Kent Stegall and we will respond to that. But I don't think Kent was available for me to talk to today.
So if you could delete out 8, 7, and 9. Okay, and then we're gonna start with District 9, and we're gonna assign at the township level to move a little quicker.
Second.
So we're gonna take
my computer is moving slowly, so I just want to save before
Thank
we.
you for that. Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, so Township, District 9.
So we're gonna take Rochester, Rochester Hills. And then Auburn Hills, Pontiac, Lake Angeles.
Okay, so I think that's a precinct, or is that a township?
Yeah, I'm not sure, so let's just continue going down and we can come back to it. So,
And
Bloomfield
then
Hills.
this area
Yep.
here we'll come back to.
Exactly. So Bloomfield Hills, Bloomfield Township, Birmingham. All right, and sign all those and then switch to the precincts and grab those extra areas.
Okay, that's right on money with 9.
Yep, and then we are going to switch to District 8. We're gonna do the same thing. We'll start with the townships. And we're gonna grab all of Troy, all of Clausen, all of Royal Oak, all of Madison Heights.
Oops, hang on, I'm on precincts.
That's all right.
Troy, Clausen, Madison Heights, Royal Oak.
Go ahead and sign those. And then we're gonna grab those extra precincts from Sterling Heights to the east. That includes Utica, and then the precincts around Utica. Okay. And then everything else is gonna go on 7.
All right, hang on, let me just save this.
And say, please save.
My laptop is pretty strong, but sometimes too many clicks can
Yeah.
slow the program. Like that, okay.
What, let you drop the box down so you can select a bunch at a time?
Yeah, I was trying to, so
It's not working. Okay.
do that. I think it's because I'm zoomed into the census blocks. Just take it back a notch. Box. There we go. All right, let me let it finish and then we'll do a quick. All right, we've almost got it.
Take that little precinct that got selected the last time. That's fine. The one that was going into 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So just let it go.
Yeah.
Come on.
I thought you promised 5 minutes, Commissioner Zatella.
Well, it's not on me, it's the computer. So,
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
yeah.
It's just
not me
really
that's
slow.
Well, we got 4 minutes.
Nope. Commissioner Ede.
Executive Director Woods.
Yeah, I have an item I need to present, so I'm gonna make sure we have quorum if people are gonna leave at 7.
Commissioners, you're just having him fill in the precincts. And
Yep, he can just continue doing
All right.
that and then we'll pick
While
it
he's
up on
doing-
Monday.
Well, while he's doing that, let's move on to Executive Director Woods' report.
Do you want me to unshare the screen while I'm doing this or just leave it on the background here?
Oh, if you can unshare your screen, that would be great. Thank
You
you.
bet.
Appreciate it.
Okay, commissioners, I found out today that in order for us to do our translation, we have back bill from September 28, 2021, September 29, 2001, and September 29, 2021. The first one was for a meeting notice for $229.08. I look back at our records, there's no record of the invoice actually coming in. When I went back to the records from, at the staff records from basically almost 2.5 years ago, for the meeting notice, the miscellaneous document, redistricting 101, and the MICRC participate flyer. This represents translation from English to Arabic, Bengali, as well as Spanish. So this is a cost of $938.38. And I'm just requesting approval since this is outside of the fiscal year for this expense. So we can get our materials translated. They will not process any translations till this is resolved.
I move that the bills be paid.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lett and a second by Commissioner Orton to pay this bill for translation services. Is that correct, Mr. Lett?
That's correct.
All right. Is there any debate on the matter? Commissioner Lang?
No debate, just real quick. You have the invoices now though, right? You said you couldn't find them, but now you have them?
Yeah, they sent them to us, Commissioner Lang.
Okay.
Saying that they were outstanding, and then I matched that to what was paid in the past. And they were not there. They were not even noticed as being received.
Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Anything else for your report, Mr. Woods?
That is it. Thank you very much.
Are there any announcements?
Just a reminder that we meet on Monday from 10 to 1, Monday, April 29th from 10 to 1, and then Tuesday, April 30th from 10 to 12.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. All right, Mr. Morgan, were you able to complete that task?
Yes, I was.
Can you go ahead and just share your screen real quick? We can see it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Is that what you wanted, Commissioner Stella?
Yep, yep, and we can pick up the rest of my turn on Monday.
All right. Okay, wonderful. Well, with that said, the items on the agenda are completed for today. So at this time, I will.
Commissioner Eid,
Yes.
I just wanted to ask for a future agenda item.
Okay.
Mr. Woods, I wanted to ask for a future agenda item next week about the constitutional language with respect to submitting outside comments and feedback. I just have some questions for Nate Fink about it, and I'll put in an email as well. But if we could add that to the agenda, I'd appreciate it.
Monday or Tuesday, or do you have a preference, Commissioner Stella?
It doesn't really matter.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, I move we adjourn.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Lett and a second by Commissioner Weiss. All those in favor to adjourn, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Okay. Is there any opposed? All right, we are adjourned at 7:02 p.m.